Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Julia Sandor. Thank you for joining us. The Phoenix Children's Hospital is expanding, opening 3 new healthcare centers in the Valley. This morning, the hospital announced the opening of a 3-story inpatient care center in Glendale, which will be known as the Arrowhead Campus. The hospital's official opening date isn't set in stone. However, construction should be completed in 2022. The new facility is expected to support around 76,000 annual visits and bring more than 650 new jobs to the West Valley. According to Phoenix Children's Hospital, the pediatric population is expected to expand by 25% in the next 10 years, and these new facilities will help meet the growing need. Robert Meyer, the CEO of Phoenix Children's Hospital, explains why the new centers are necessary for families in the area.
It's been part of really our need. Obviously, way back when we were very focused on our central campus, but it was very apparent many years ago that we needed to be a valley-wide provider. Distance is a big deal. I mean, we all live in the valley. We know what our freeway system is like, and it's not different than any major metropolitan area. But those distances are tough. And we believe we've evolved a lot of our ability to deliver the care in a decentralized way.
The other 2 new sites were announced in March. They will both be in Avondale. One is the Southwest Campus, which will be an emergency department, and the other will be a sports medicine clinic. At Rio Vista Community Park, a memorial took place in remembrance of a soldier who took his own life. Cronkite News reporter Peyton Watts explains why his death continues to be a call to action when dealing with mental health in the U.S. military.
Okay, no training, no stand down, no lessons learned, nothing. If there would have been a stand down, our son would be alive today. He wouldn't have been able to do what he did.
Last night, groups gathered in support of the movement, the Brandon Act. Named after Brandon Castro, who served in the Navy, his parents say he took his own life in 2018 because he suffered from depression and trauma from hazing, claiming he had no support from his chain of command.
Action is necessary. We cannot just wait and delay what needs to be a justice-driven process for the people that serve every one of us and serve our country.
The Brandon Act works as a way for members of the armed forces to get help with their mental health. It works as an emergency hotline for soldiers feeling depressed, suicidal, or having other mental health issues get help without receiving retaliation from their superiors.
The Brandon Act, it was created to help end suicide or to help prevent suicide. It creates a safe word that triggers a mandatory mental health evaluation and referral by the command. It also will help to protect from retaliation, and it'll ensure confidentiality so that service members can get the mental health support that they need.
A movement focused on preventing suicide within the military in memoriam of a soldier gone too soon. In Peoria, Arizona, Peyton Watts, Cronkite News.
The movement, along with the League of United Latin American Citizens, declared the month of June to be the Brandon Act Awareness Month. They hope to gain traction and reintroduce the idea into congressional legislation. The City of Glendale has approved a protection ordinance for the members of the LGBTQ community. The City Council approved the provision unanimously last night during a meeting. It will make it illegal to discriminate for public accommodations, employment, and housing. This will make Glendale the 9th city in Arizona to offer protections for the LGBTQ community. Other cities that offer protections are Scottsdale, Mesa, Tempe, and Phoenix, among others. Glendale Council member Jamie Aldama says that it's not about providing special protections, but equal protections. Were you able to see the super blood moon last night? It was visible to viewers across the valley and the West Coast. The first total lunar eclipse to be visible in 2.5 years was also combined with May's flower moon. A blood moon is a supermoon and a total lunar eclipse at the same time. Flower moons are full moons that occur in May. And a supermoon happens when the moon gets closest to the Earth, since it lies on an elliptical orbit and not a perfectly circular one. Due to this, the moon appeared to be 7% bigger in the sky than normal. The next lunar eclipse is set to be in November this year, but that will only be a partial eclipse. The Phoenix Suns dropped Game 2 of their first round matchup to the Los Angeles Lakers last night. That evens up the series to 1 game apiece. The teams now head to LA for Game 3 and 4. Despite Chris Paul only playing 23 minutes in Game 2, the Suns were able to make a comeback from an early deficit and took the lead from just under 6 minutes left in the game. But that wasn't enough, as LeBron James sealed the game with a three-pointer in the final minute. The Lakers scored 21 points on Suns turnovers. The team was also out-rebounded by the Lakers. Final score, 109-102. Game 3 is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. The Phoenix Mercury's home opener was last weekend, and fans were more than ready to get back in the arena to watch their team play. I went to see how Mercury fans, or the X Factor, were feeling about the game. It's been over a year since Mercury fans were able to watch a game in person. And as they celebrate the start of their 25th season, it was a home opener unlike any other.
We've been waiting for this. As soon as tickets went on sale, we were like ready to go.
Fans danced and cheered in orange and purple as they waited to go inside the new arena. After the pandemic changed last season's schedule and plans, they were excited for the switch from their TV to the court.
On TV would be a lot boring, but in person would be a lot funner because you would get to see more stuff and see it better.
We watched them on TV last year. We were X Factor members before that, so we're really excited for them to finally be back home. And really excited to see Bria Hartley play and Skylar Diggins. I'm really excited to see them play for the first time in person. Yeah, in person's a big deal.
And although the outcome wasn't what they hoped for, the game meant much more than a loss to the fans.
Just being in the atmosphere, just around everyone else, all the other fans, and just having that energy, everyone screaming together, clapping together, that's what I miss the most. Yeah, and coming especially with family members, it's always fun.
They've always been an organization that bring the fans out, passionate about basketball, just great support. And now I'm just happy to have the X Factor on my side.
The Mercury are set to play the Las Vegas Aces tonight, but the team will be without their star player, Diana Taurasi. The team announced this week that a CT scan revealed a small fracture to her sternum. The fracture will likely force Taurasi to miss 4 to 6 weeks. Taurasi is currently averaging 15 points a game this season and is just 6 points shy of becoming the only player to 9,000 points in WNBA history. And now, let's take a look back on our coverage of growth and changes for athletes.
As legislation in Arizona has allowed more opportunities for people to access alternative treatment options, Cronkite News reporter Zach Moore got a chance to hear why athletes support this movement.
Cannabis, CBD, and other herbal medicines are becoming widely more accepted thanks to the efforts of athletes who have fought the stigma behind these treatment options. Athletes insist these alternative medicines are extremely effective.
Cannabis, just in a personal stance, it's the pain management is what I deal with.
It could help you sleep, reduce anxiety, inflammation, arthritis. Here we are talking about football players with inflammation and onset of arthritis, with sleep issues, with anxiety, PTSD, and all this crazy stuff. And here's this natural plant that can help with all that.
CBD has paid dividends for both active and former players alike. Last year, the NFL announced a new collective bargaining agreement that got rid of suspensions for marijuana violations.
But I think that pendulum is swinging. More people are looking into plant medicine as a remedy, and it's very encouraging what the NFL did.
Arizona enacted legislation to allow recreational marijuana use, a change that reflects a trend amongst all patients.
A lot of people are seeking, alternative care, not just pharmaceuticals. So I think more patients are becoming aware, older people are becoming aware, they're accepting this.
Again, I'm not trying to say that any other medicine shouldn't be used. What I'm arguing is that my medicine should be allowed and should be an option and put me at a level playing field like any other athlete.
As the landscape continues to evolve, it seems that the sports world and overall legislation continues to trend toward providing opportunities for patients to receive alternative treatment options. In Chandler, Zach Moore, Cronkite News.
The COVID-19 pandemic did not just put a momentary stop to sports competition. It also impacted the future of high school athletes aiming to play at the next level. The NCAA implemented a dead period for college recruiting, preventing schools from hosting in-person visits for prospects. Cronkite News reporter Mason Kern explores the effects on one Arizona prep football star.
Wrap, drive.
Good. With his junior season in disarray, Shaquan Bowser spent the last year honing his skills on the gridiron. The Castile High defender was preparing for a recruitment process that still remains uncertain.
Oh, man, I was devastated, bro. I was so devastated.
The recruiting dead period began last March, with the NCAA throwing out its traditional calendar. It prevented prep athletes from interacting with college campuses in person, restricting to a completely virtual system.
We're considering just touring the campus in general and not just the facility, which is a bummer, but it is what it is.
When will it end? Recruits are asking the same question. The deadline has been extended 8 times and is currently scheduled to stop at the end of May.
Everyone who I really talk to is, either my class or lower, and we're all in the same boat right now, and we're all starting to figure out, this confusing time.
Prospects can still take unofficial trips to college campuses, just without access to any facilities. Both sides are continuing to learn to adapt to an online recruiting process.
Colleges have been great in doing virtual visits, virtual tours with players that they're interested in, and players can always go online, and there's so many things online right now that you can get a feel for a campus, but there's nothing like being on the campus and getting a feel for the town that you're in. Like, you don't just randomly go up and go to different states, so we kind of have to plan ahead. But we also don't want to go and tour the campus just so the dead period can be lifted.
The recruiting landscape was reshaped with the class of 2021. Bowser and the rest of the 2022 recruits now have to navigate the continued uncertainty through National Signing Day in February of 2022. In Queen Creek, Mason Kern, Cronkite News.
While Darby decided to head to the draft, senior defensive back Chase Lucas chose to head back to Tempe. Reporter Jordan Spurgeon takes a look at the reasoning behind his decision.
Yeah, Chase Lucas is everything for this program. And I mean everything.
Chase Lucas doesn't quit. The fifth-year senior came back with a chip on his shoulder after not being named a captain in 2020.
I ended up not getting the C on my chest, and you know what I mean? I put so much hard work and dedication into something that I didn't get. And I remember walking out of the meeting crying.
This year is different. After he decided not to declare for the draft, Coach Herm Edwards opted to name Lucas a captain.
I just felt like I was out to prove something. Like I said, man, I think it was the best decision that I've made, and I'm just really, really blessed to be a captain on this football team.
The Tempe native and Chandler High product wants to be a legend in Sun Devil football lore. Coach Edwards says he saw that potential in him from day one when he took over the program.
He's been a part of this program even before I got here. I can remember when I first met Chase and we had a nice conversation and told him that, eventually you're going to be one of the leaders of this football team, and rightly so. He's a team captain.
The goal for this season is to not only prep for the 2022 NFL Draft, but to make his teammates better and in turn cement his legacy in ASU history.
So if I'm going to be the legendary guy that I keep saying I'm going to be, I got to change some things. So I'm going to change some things around here.
The lockdown corner will be the first 5-year starter in Sun Devil football history. For Cronkite News, I'm Jordan Spurgeon.
The Surprise Tennis Complex has hosted many events over the years, including a national championship tournament for the United States Tennis Association. Reporter Zachary Larson tells us how the event has become more popular than ever.
The COVID-19 pandemic did not benefit most sports, but for the United States Tennis Association, the sport of tennis grew in popularity.
We actually saw tennis across the United States grow just in general. We had about 4 million more people playing tennis in 2020 than in previous years.
The USTA hosts events like the National Tennis Rating Program Championships every year, which features players like Rafael Garcia, who competes out of a passion for the sport.
It's something that I work for, something that I have to earn. And when I get to this place, I feel fulfilled.
The City of Surprise has been hosting events for the USTA since the tennis facility's inception in 2007, thanks to its pristine condition and unique layout that allows fans to view all 25 courts in close proximity.
They come here because of the quality, the way the courts are maintained. There's, we keep things new, constant resurfacing, all that kind of stuff.
Whether you're from Texas or from right here in Arizona, the NTRP National Championships feature many different age groups and skill levels from across the country.
Each of the 17 sections got a certain number of players to endorse to send on, and so these folks fought their way out through all the local play and everything to get here.
There are over 1,000 players competing in this year's Adult National Championships event, ranging from high-level players to those just beginning. making the Surprise Tennis Center an ideal place for the event.
Arizona has fantastic weather. This is probably one of our favorite facilities to run out of. Just the fact that they have 25 lit courts makes it super great.
All these different levels are playing at this one event, whereas most tournaments are just one level.
The city hopes to continue hosting local schools and USTA events as the sport of tennis continues to grow. In Surprise, Zachary Larson, Cronkite News.
Giving back to the community has become an important part of many professional athletes' lives. In Arizona, longtime Cardinal Corey Peters has focused his efforts on education. Cronkite News reporter Mason Kern has the story about Peters' impact on young students in South Phoenix and beyond.
Did everybody read the book? Did anybody finish it?
Corey Peters hasn't always enjoyed reading. In fact, his parents had to coax him into it when he was a child.
I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of reading per se growing up, but I think my parents did a good job of, forcing me to take the time to do things the right way and spend some time reading.
As he got older and matured, the longtime Arizona Cardinals defensive lineman realized that he could provide the gift of education to his community. So the Corey Peters playbook was born.
I feel like it's my responsibility to pay it forward, help some other kids, get some opportunities that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise had.
After holding his book club in person for several years, the COVID-19 pandemic forced it to go virtual in 2020.
Two of Trevor's greatest passions are reading and football, specifically the Cardinals. So when I saw this, I was just like, this is the perfect thing for him. And, he's a little more apprehensive when it comes to social elements. So it being online was even a greater fit.
While the playbook was an offering exclusively for Arizona high school students last year, it's being pushed nationwide in 2021.
Since it's expanding, so maybe there'll be more kids and I guess maybe longer meetings and more thoughts put into it. Corey Peters, he's been really nice during the meetings and all that, and he's accepting.
Being able to do it virtually, we're able to reach a wider range of students. I also think the students are a lot more comfortable being able to share.
The personal touch Peters puts toward his participants has not gone unnoticed either.
Just the relationship he's developed with Trevor and how he's helped Trevor kind of come out of his shell and have greater experiences and stuff. We're forever grateful for that.
While he's currently a free agent, Peters is hoping to continue to make an impact in the Arizona community he's served for the last 5 years, even if he's no longer playing for the Cardinals.
My community work, I really have a special connection to South Phoenix community.
And that will never change. In Phoenix, Mason Kern, Cronkite News.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. Coming up next on Break It Down, the stress of constant Zoom meetings, tips to handle our new virtual workday. That's next. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.